Hi, I'm Charles Booth, the digital tutor, and today we're talking about getting comfortable on camera in a webinar. If you do online training or webinars and such like, perhaps you've noticed the strange empty dead air and lack of feedback whenever you ask a question. If that's you, I can definitely help. We'll talk through some simple and practical ways of interacting with your webinar guests and making your session more engaging and flow better. Before we get into it, if virtual training and doing webinars is your bag, please click on the subscribe button below and let me know what you think in the comments. So, let's get started. When you're presenting to others or teaching a class, have you ever noticed that you look around the room for subtle cues from your audience for them to let you know that they're still with you? Perhaps you find yourself asking things like, do you know what I mean? Or in my case, does that make sense? And then look around for nodding and smiling and all that. Then you try the same thing on a webinar and are met with a stony silence. You know what I mean? It's rough, I know, but we can manage it. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve, and because I'm such a good person, I'm going to share them with you so that everyone else can see how awesome you are too. What about when we need to ask questions? The rapid feedback mechanism is the gold standard essential trick for getting engagement. We want folks to take part, but it's usually too difficult to listen to everyone on their microphone, and it usually takes too long to wait for an answer in the chat box. So what do? Why not try reframing your questions as simple yes/no questions and then agree a way of sending a response? A lot of webinar platforms come with a rapid feedback mechanism. On Zoom, you can choose to wave or to show a thumbs up. Adobe Connect lets you set a status like the green agree button or red disagree button, or even clap or laugh. And other tools like Whereby come with a whole host of emojis. What do you think so far, Amy? If you're using the chat box a lot, when you ask questions, you might notice a little bit of dead air whilst people answer. It can sometimes make people feel uncomfortable if nothing seems to be happening. So a nice way to make people feel comfortable answering questions is to get one or two vocal people who are willing to go on the microphone to answer their questions aloud whilst other people are typing theirs. This gives a much better impression of being part of a conversation as an equal rather than being talked at. So, how are you feeling today? What do you say, Amy?
I'm okay.
Now, there may be a few limitations with webcams. Often when you're on webcam, not much of your body is visible, which means that you lose a lot of that valuable body language that you might use to reinforce your message. Not only that, if you're sitting down, then you aren't as free to move anyway, and this can be pretty boring for everyone else to watch. So if you want to get people excited about what you want to say, then get animated. Get up to that, use up that tiny piece of real estate you've got here and fill it with as much emotionally exciting body language as you can. Don't let your seat hold you prisoner. Smile, address the camera, move your head, throw your arms in the air and use hand gestures to drive the point home. A smile is infectious, and if you can model that excited ant and deck posture, then others will catch from that excitement as well. We've all seen the talking heads on the TV working from home in their fancy studies with all the books they've read on display to show off how clever they are. Sure, it looks good, but does it put everyone at ease? Does it feel relatable? Your surroundings don't have to be boring. They can be used to share a more relatable side of yourself. Books and ornaments can be used to give people an idea of who you are and reinforce your ideas. There's no rule to say that you can't use props to demonstrate or illustrate your points too. A nice easy prop to roll out is the trusty whiteboard when you need to knock up a diagram quickly. And don't feel that you need to worry about the kids coming in and messing around. It might be a bit annoying, but it does one thing really well. It makes you more relatable, and it makes you and the session much more memorable. That's not to say that I'm encouraging it, as it can be infuriating sometimes. It's fair to say that you're more relatable when you're looking directly at the camera, therefore looking right at your audience. If you're not comfortable talking to the camera directly, one trick that can help is to place a picture of a loved one next to the camera for you to talk to. Also, if you think about it, you've actually got a whole lot of space behind that camera that you can use for all sorts of cues and reminders. Lots of people might place notice boards and post-it notes just in view beside their computer screen, so why not place your cue cards or lesson plan or even another computer screen just behind the camera as a rudimentary auto cue or teleprompter? The last thing I should say to round this whole section off is to give yourself permission to have fun with it all. You are a human being reaching out to other human beings, and all human beings want to enjoy themselves. So relax and don't worry about taking everything too seriously. You can still be a professional and have fun. One positive thing is to try something different every single time you do a session. It spices it up for both you and for everyone else joining in. In my classes, I always talk about the new things that I'm trying out so that my guests know that they're a part of something unique and special. A lot of my experiments do go a little bit wrong, but that's okay because it's a good way to learn what works, and again it makes it more memorable and makes me more relatable as a trainer. Virtual training, webinars, VILTs and video calling, etc. they're all still very new concepts, so there's no real rules about the right way to do things, and you'll never know what really works until you try it. So have fun with it.